Welcome to Red-tastic. Story 1. My wife, 31 female, and I, 34 male, have been married for 3 years. We've always wanted kids, but struggled with infertility from the start. About a year ago, my wife got pregnant, and we were thrilled to be having a baby. Sadly, she had a miscarriage around the 12-week mark. It was extremely devastating for the both of us, and we struggled to cope with losing the baby. The whole ordeal ruined us physically, mentally, and emotionally. We took a while to recover completely from it all. My wife and I had already chosen names for our baby. If it was a boy, we were going to name him with my late grandfather and my wife's late father's names. If it was a girl, we would name her with both my grandmother and my wife's grandmother's names. These names were important and sentimental to us. We had already announced these names to our close family members shortly after finding out we were pregnant. My brother, 31 male, and his wife, 29 female, got pregnant around the same time as we did. His wife carried the pregnancy to term and gave birth to a baby girl. Unlike us, they did not announce the name until the baby was born. I found out my new niece's name through an official announcement post made by my brother on Facebook. They had named her almost exactly what my wife and I had planned to name our baby if it had been a girl. There was a slight variation on the second name, but it's pretty much the same name. It was like a slap on our faces. I was upset and hurt when I saw the announcement and called my brother to let him know that I didn't appreciate him stealing my chosen baby name. He countered that it wasn't a big deal, as we didn't get the chance to name our baby that anyway. They liked the name too, and since their baby made it to term and ours didn't, they didn't think it would matter if they used the name. Thankfully, everyone else in the family was on our side. They weren't pleased when they found out, and cut my brother and sister-in-law off from the family for a while. But after a while, I felt like there was no use in excluding them from the family. It was already done, my niece's name was already registered, and there was nothing I could do about it. Even though I was still hurt, I decided to try and put it past me. I began reconnecting with my brother, bit by bit. Not gonna lie, it did hurt every time I heard them talk to their child, or refer to her with the name I would have given to my own daughter. It was bittersweet watching her grow every month and think about how my own child would be around the same age, going through the same milestones, crawling and starting solids, etc. But it was nice to be a part of each other's lives again. One day, we were invited for dinner at my brother's house. Well, it was more like a gathering with some family members and friends, rather than a sit-down dinner. I was walking back from the toilet when I heard my sister-in-law, mother-in-law, and some women were talking in the kitchen. I wasn't going to eavesdrop at first, but I heard myself being mentioned and decided to stop and listen. They were talking about the name issue. I heard my sister-in-law say that my wife and I were sorry losers for still being so hung up over a name. They were discussing the looks on our face when they called their child by the name and were kinda laughing at it. I was beyond hurt by this. Later, this pain turned to anger. I had always felt some type of way about the cleft chin on their child's face. Like somehow it didn't belong on her face or something. I've heard it's a genetic trait, but neither my brother nor sister-in-law, nor anybody in either side of the family has one. Just off the top of my head anyway. I understand that genetics are funky and there are millions of possibilities, but still, something was working at the back of my mind. So I did a few cheek swabs on the baby and stole my brother's toothbrush. They have a couple toiletries from the bathroom. My brother and sister-in-law were busy with their guests and didn't really pay attention to me anyway. I left home soon after, found a lab, and sent samples to get a paternity test done, praying they weren't contaminated. 2 weeks later, the results came back, stating that my brother was not the father of the child. This was the gotcha moment. When Thanksgiving came, I was prepared. My parents were hosting that year, so all of us gathered at their house to celebrate. I waited until everyone had arrived before giving my brother and sister-in-law an envelope with the results in it as a gift. They opened it eagerly, probably expecting something else. My sister-in-law's jaw dropped when she saw what was actually in the envelope. I swear, she looked like she was going to be sick. My brother was very confused. He started shouting at us, at me, asking if I was pulling some kind of prank. His wife said nothing to defend herself. She just kept crying. The whole thing was a mess. My brother started yelling at her next, demanding answers. The whole family just stood there, shocked, confused. I don't even know if they understood what was happening. My wife and I decided to leave before it could escalate further. I don't know what happened next, but I can imagine it wasn't too great. I thought I was doing my brother a favor, in the end, but a bunch of my family members have been calling and texting me and calling me an a-hole for ruining Thanksgiving for them. Some of them are saying that I shouldn't have stuck my nose into another couple's business. My parents have no opinion on the issue. They don't really want to get involved. I need an outsider's opinion. I know what I did was petty. I just wanted to get back at them for the pain they caused me. But it did some good to my brother too, right? Update. So, my brother called me a few days after Thanksgiving. He was a broken mess. Apparently, his wife had an affair with one of her friends a year ago, and he's been raising their affair baby. She knew all along that the child wasn't his. They're now getting a divorce. My brother wants nothing to do with the baby, but legally, he is the father and he will probably have to pay child support. But he said he's looking into fighting it. My sister-in-law has been an emotional mess, and she's hoping he will take her back. My brother called me an asshole for ruining his life. He sounded drunk when he said it, but I know that's how he really feels. Honestly, I have no idea what to think now. This whole situation is a sad mess. I think I'm going to distance myself a bit from him. My wife is pregnant. Yay, and I want to focus on preparing to become a dad. OP, I'm sorry about your wife's miscarriage and I'm glad she's pregnant again. There's no denying what you did was petty, but I think in the end you did your brother a huge favor. The child isn't his, and his wife wasn't planning on telling him the truth anytime soon, but you uncovered the truth for him. Even though you did it to get back at them, you still did him a favor. And to your family saying you ruined Thanksgiving, you should apologize to them because, let's be honest, you could have told your brother in a less open space. That would have been more ideal. Story 2. Recently, my sister and I signed up for the same spinning class. It's been years since I've done any kind of physical activity with her. She started gaining weight a few years ago and never really stopped. She claims she's exercising every day and eating right, but has no idea why she's still gaining weight. So it's Wednesday night and we're leaving class for dinner. She says she's extra hungry since she skipped lunch. So we went to McDonald's. Yeah, kinda counterintuitive, but I was like, whatever, a small burger won't kill you. We decided to drive through and eat at hers. She places her orders and I'm not really paying attention. Then while I'm driving, she starts eating this big chicken burger. I just thought, oh, she's hungry. Guess she'll only have fries later. Well, we get home and to my surprise, she takes out another whole meal, like a Big Mac and everything. I ask her about the chicken burger and she goes, oh, I just wanted something for the road. And I was like, are you serious? That was a 10-minute drive. Do you normally get 2 burgers? She gets mad at me and tells me everyone has road food, which is like an extra portion to eat on the road. She said it like it's some kind of rule when you get fast food. I was pretty blunt, I admit, and said this is insane. Road food is why you're not losing weight then. No one needs road food. Am I the a-hole for telling her this? Honestly, I was in shock and I've never heard of road food. She got really mad and said this is totally normal. Everyone does it. I'm kinda in shock. I get maybe sneaking a few fries, but a whole second meal? Am I the a-hole for kind of freaking out at her? Edit. Adding some more context to everyone asking about her diet, she's been actively trying to lose weight due to health issues popping up in the last year as a direct result of her weight. I've just started to go with her to fitness classes because I know otherwise she'll slack off without a buddy. With the burgers, I know she eats fast food frequently because she hates cooking, but she's always told me she goes for the really light options. But now I'm not so sure. What I was really disturbed at was how she was convinced getting an extra meal for the road is normal and everyone does it. I'm frustrated because she came to me for support first, and I've been taking this seriously. I'm even paying for her gym membership, unused until now. Since her husband is such a dick about expenses, I'm just angry she's been sabotaging herself this entire time. OP, your sister probably has no idea how many calories are in the burgers she's eating. You could tally up the calories of the road burgers and give her the data, the intake she needs to maintain, the deficit needed to lose weight, and her daily average intake. She won't miraculously change, but having those cold hard numerical facts might give her food for thought. Until she is willing to be honest with herself and quit making excuses or justifying bullshit to herself, she simply is not going to lose weight.